Right. Everybody, welcome to Inside Order Desk, Building the Connected Promo Supply Chain. This is a webinar I've been looking forward to. I've had a number of aviator friends ask about Order Desk and why I'm so obsessed, so I figured we'd have a group chat today. A little bit of housekeeping first. We are recording, and that recording will be posted on YouTube eventually, hopefully today, if I can get to it, but look out for that relatively soon. If you are in the aviators community, I'll be posting it there as well. If you're not in the aviators community, please check out promopilot.io. Go to the community page and check it out. It's free, doesn't cost anything. And I post about Order Desk there too. Last bit of housekeeping before we get started. We will be doing Q&A at the end. There is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can use that to post questions anytime. We'll get to those as we conclude. If you post questions in the chat, I can't promise that we're going to see them, but Hannah's going to do her best. All right. So on the agenda today, we're going to talk about Order Desk. What is it? Why are distributors using Order Desk? What does it offer suppliers? We have a couple of suppliers to tell us about that. And we'll talk a little bit about the benefits for solution providers. Those are the Shopify's, WooCommerce's, Liftoffs, et cetera, of the world. And then we'll conclude with that Q&A. Introducing your panelists today, we have David Hollander, the founder of Order Desk. Representing the suppliers, we've got Chris Alfano from Vantage, Michael Beal from Rupt, and then somebody who I know, Hannah Granata, representing the distributors. She's the e-commerce manager at Made to Order and an Order Desk fan. All right, so let's get to it. Before we dive into how Order Desk is connecting distributors, suppliers, etc., let's start with the origin. David, how did Order Desk come about?
Hey Eric, thanks for the invite. It's great to be here. Orderdesk started years ago as a tool to allow people to import their orders, manage them, and then send them out for fulfillment. Way back in the day, this was before print on demand was really even kind of a thing. It was just kind of aimed at traditional fulfillment, sending to a warehouse to get fulfilled. And as print on demand kind of came on the scene, uh, we were able to adjust and allow our system to connect with print-on-demand providers too, and it's become a huge part of what we do. And it's something that's complex and hard and exciting.
It is complex, and you may have noticed POD is kind of a trending topic in the print and promo space, where we've been used to doing minimum order quantities, larger orders from a dollar standpoint. And so POD represents a lot of challenge when it comes to the processes we have around those. Let's take a look real quick at what Order Desk actually is and does. Will you take us through these slides, David?
Absolutely. So the first thing that we look at with Order Desk is we want to know about your products. So in this case, you might have a SKU that comes in your store of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a blue mug. And what we're doing here is we want to know about how to fulfill this order, this product. So we're gonna store really two things with each of your items. We want the print SKU, which is what your supplier calls this blank, and the print URL, where you're storing your artwork file. So you're gonna load this information into our system for your SKUs, the print SKU and the print URL. And once that's stored, then we're going to be able to sync that information into the order as it comes in.
Yeah, what I really like that you guys have done too is you've sort of standardized what is required for a print on demand order with that print SKU and print URL. I've done a number of tutorials on how to connect different POD vendors, and it's more or less the same every time, which is really fantastic. Tell us
Yeah,
about where these orders come from.
absolutely. So orders are going to come from lots of different sources. Sometimes you're fulfilling orders from multiple sources as well. You might be importing them from Amazon, Shopify, Bright Stores, and it's nice to be able to import them all into one place and manage them all in the same way. So we're going to import the orders from any of your locations, and then they all are going to get processed the same way. So you're not having to do different things and then remember to go check for orders at these different locations at different times. So it all just comes in automatically. You can also decide which kinds of orders you want to import, even set up a delay so that you give a chance for customers to make changes to the order before they get imported or even cancel it. So, yeah, if you want to go ahead and go to that next slide, this is our rule builder. This is kind of the brain of Orderdesk. Once those orders come in, we're going to run these orders through logic that you've set up. And you can set up rules that's going to allow you to do anything to the order that you want. So you might want to say, if this order has a mug in it, we want to send it to this supplier. Or if it has different kinds of products, we want to split these into separate products for fulfillment. You might want to do something different with international orders or orders over a certain dollar amount. So that can all be automated. And then at the other end of the automation, you can submit the orders for fulfillment, move them to a different folder, cancel them, send an email to yourself with a notification. You can do all kinds of just about anything you can imagine. And then finally, after the automation is complete, if you want to switch to that next slide there, we're going to send the order out for fulfillment. And we use your relationship with your supplier. So we're not trying to get in the middle of that. So you'll set up uh, an API key with your supplier. They'll give you a key, then you load that into Orderdesk, and then we will talk to your supplier on your behalf to send them the order. We have um, lots and lots of print-on-demand suppliers available, as well as integrations like Sanmar that are not exactly print-on-demand, but kind of print-on-demand adjacent. So yeah,
Brilliant.
that's kind of the quick story.
Nice. Thank you. I do want to point out that that rules engine is no code. Nobody needs to learn how to program to use it. It is very capable and it goes very deep. But I think you'll be delighted at how like simple it is to put these things together. I did want to share a blog post that I wrote a while back that kind of gives distributors mostly an overview of what Orderdesk does and how folks can use it. And you can reach that with the QR on screen. And with that, let's get into our roundtable. Okay. Hannah, most of our viewers are on the distributor side, so we're going to start there. What is the distributor's biggest pain when working with multiple suppliers or decorators?
Probably managing all the complexity. So we have all these programs that all run a little bit differently. We use a number of front-end platforms, so it's a harder thing for us to figure out how do we send the supplier information the way they want it without a bunch of manual labor. And Orderdesk has taken that complexity out for me. So I'm able to manage personalization and gift notes and send the information to our suppliers in a format that works for them. Like we have these integrations and those are the ideal for sure. But if I need to send a CSV or I need to send an email or these are orders that are even retail orders, I can have a way to do that through Orderdesk. So that has been fantastic.
What has changed for you now that you've got Orderdesk in the mix?
I have a lot more visibility. So and control, like what David mentioned with those order rules, that has simplified things so much for us because we can take all of these different programs that function differently on different front ends, put them down into one system, and From there, we're doing one thing with them. So one place to manage them, and our back office isn't having to do a different system for every program. For example, we have approval rules, and so now those are done automatically through Orderdesk for a particular program.
Nice. Is there any help with order management? I'm trying to understand beyond supplier integration. How does Orderdesk help in other ways?
Yeah, so honestly, order management is what I'm using it for most. So I loved hearing David say that that was initially what they were going for. We're using it for print on demand too, but I love it for order management. It I'm able to automate processes. I have one program where we have an AE that every other week she was batching orders and like manually going through them and adding fees, doing different calculations. And we set that up as a set of rules in Orderdesk as a store. Now the orders, they flow in. We use a button because we still want to be involved in that process. So it's a button that creates this merge, and it does all this stuff. Anyway, it ends up with a PO ready to go to that supplier in about 30 seconds. So that's been fantastic. Another thing that I love about it is because of the integrations, not just with suppliers, but with things like ShipStation and Smarty, I'm able to really beef up my order information before it gets sent on to whoever. For example, a warehouse program that needs supplemental paperwork that goes with that order. Well, my ShipStation integration from on that platform just isn't as good as the one that I have through Orderdesk. So with it in Orderdesk, I can add lots of information. I can even tag it in ShipStation, so my warehouse manager knows that to hold for that supplemental paperwork before getting that shipped out. So I mean, I can bring up endless stories, but there's a lot you can do there with order management.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned merging orders too, because there was another use case that I ran into where we were shipping multiple times per week to the same address in China, which was getting very expensive. And when I was asked, is there a way where we can, on a schedule every Friday, manually or not manually, automatically merge those orders into one before we send it to the 3PL? And then when that one combined order ships, we fan the tracking back out and close each of those individual orders. My thought was, that seems like something Orderdesk might be able to help with. And it totally was. Very cool. All right, so that's the distributor side. Chris, let's bring in the supplier side. Why did Vantage decide to integrate with Orderdesk, and what has changed for you since?
Yeah, so we actually use Orderdesk in two different fronts. We are a print-on-demand provider, built and integrated with Orderdesk, and we also utilize Orderdesk, like Hannah was saying, for CSVs, for people who have systems that they even if they're manually creating a CSV or batching it, they're able to drop it into our FTP site. We're consuming that into our side and processing it. So Autodesk's given us the ability to start from the most simplistic integration of a CSV file all the way down the path with multiple platforms connecting in. We've, over the last few years, leaned very heavily into promo standards, but that's it's a very finite group of distributors that fit into that bucket. Once we've finished it with them, then it was a finite amount of service providers. But we still had requests for Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce. I put up WooCommerce stores all the time. What can I do? So my development team looked at the laundry list of things I asked them to build internally, and I got an immediate hard no. They had no interest in maintaining integrations with every single individual platform under the sun. And through that activity, that's, I had heard about Autodesk more from the order processing platform. Then I looked at it through the other lens of, well, wait a minute. If we get on there as a print on demand supplier and they've already integrated with every, let's call it traditional industry B2C e-commerce platform, and that's done, and they're already leaning into industry platforms like Liftoff and Bright Sites and things like that, it was a no-brainer for our team. I took my list of, hey, I need you to build these 15 integrations down to we're going to build one integration with Autodesk. And it's now given our distributors who have these other platforms the ability to integrate where when we get, oh, are you connected to Foundry Commerce or are you connected here? We just turn around and say, yep, here you go. Here's a link to Autodesk. Here's a link to Eric at PromoPilot if you need help, and have at it. And to us, when it comes in, it's a fully formed order into our system. We're very rarely involved in any of that integration capability. And the distributors love it because they have the scenarios of, well, in my Shopify store, do I need to send everything to Vantage? Or I have a hybrid. I have stuff on a shelf. I have stuff over here. How do I do this? And we tell them, hey, in your vendor field in Shopify, just put Vantage OD for on demand. And when it arrives in Autodesk, tell it everything for Vantage OD, automatic rule, we're pushing it to Vantage. So that's been helpful. It's also been really helpful for us because we were very much promo side of the industry, single piece fulfillment for promotional products. A lot of the Autodesk core people were more on the print on demand side of the, I'm putting up a site, I'm doing these print on demand things. Obviously, over the last few years, industries are colliding, right? We have the promo people getting into pod. We have pod people getting into promo. Everyone's overlapping. And for us now, we're in the middle, like, well, this is great. We're connected to both sides and we're good from there. So filled in a lot of blanks for us.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned that even if, we're just receiving CSVs or we're not to the point where we have our own APIs, that Autodesk has been helpful. I've had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks with some suppliers who want to receive program orders or e-commerce orders. And so we have a little conversation about, do you have APIs? Do you support CXML for promo standards? And I've been really surprised to hear that a lot of folks are like, yeah, if you can just send us an email with the PO and, make sure these little bits of data are on that PO, that works for us, which is cool because that's easy to set up in Autodesk. The tricky part with that, though, is how do I get that tracking information back upstream to my shopping cart? And there's a really cool feature that I just dove into that Autodesk has where you can insert that link. You can insert a hyperlink into the PO email that basically tells the rep at the supplier side, when this ships, click here and provide the tracking. And then it'll close it out in Autodesk and update the shopping cart, triggering that shipping notice, which is really cool. It's low tech, but it's kind of like Autodesk thought of it already. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Michael, for you, Rupt is a newer supplier in the industry. How does being integrated early give you an advantage in working with distributors?
Yeah, 100%. Rupt is and I constantly remind customers, Rupt is a company that's less than 2 years old. I mean, you've got Vantage on the call. I think they've got like a 40-year history or so. They've had some time to kind of get a lot of these integrations figured out. One of the things that attracted me to this role at Rupt was the opportunity to build a lot as opposed to joining an existing organization. And so part of that building and something very important to us is getting orders in an integrated fashion. So having access to Autodesk this early, I think we've been live with Autodesk for about 4 months now. We're already seeing more and more orders coming through the system every day. It's just been an absolute weapon for us, to be honest. When distributors come to me and they're like, we want Rupt products on our program stores, my first question is always, what platform do you currently host your programs on? And the vast majority of the time, they tell me a platform, I go over to orderdesk.com/integrations, and it's there. These are your Shopify's, your Bright stores, a ton of different other integrations on there that most of our customers, most of our distributor customers in the industry are already using. And so when I see that, because my role is to make sure the link is correct, and when I see that they're on Orderdesk, I start like rubbing my hands together, getting really excited because I know that my work is going to be a lot easier to integrate with companies that have a link to Orderdesk. Um, so it's been very important for us in the early stages to be able to grow our integrated and also print on demand business. Because as a supplier, I think Chris mentioned this a little bit, we're all a little bit in the promo space, a little bit in the POD space. I kind of see the industry as moving more towards POD, and Orderdesk is a really good tech partner as the industry moves more towards POD to have a link to. So very, very important for us to have that Orderdesk link early on in our existence.
Has Orderdesk helped Rep create partnerships that would have been difficult or impossible otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, there's the partnership part is one thing where there's some customers where before we had our Orderdesk link, which again is only around like 4 months old or so, there were some customers that simply just had to say, send us an email with your purchase order. And for this industry, they unfortunately have a process where there's a person who's trained to send email purchase orders, and then everything's just all manual. And you run into problems with manual. There's more room for error, room for human error. There's more chances that tracking gets sent back, but because it has to hit all these manual steps, it's late coming back. So not only has it enabled us to accept more integrated orders through different partners, but it's also made it a lot easier and a lot more automated. And we're also doing some things that I think Chris mentioned as well in terms of CSVs. Like one of our biggest customers is a gifting platform. They send us just a ton of order data based on spreadsheets. And last week, was it last week, David? Or the week before that, we went through together and kind of like went through the process of, okay, here's your CSV, here's how we're going to get it into your system, here's how tracking is going to get back, which has been a huge time saving for me and for our back office staff as well. So yeah, Orderdesk has helped us create a ton more partnerships, but it's also just made it easier to serve those partners as well.
Nice.
Can
Chris,
I jump in too, Eric, and just say
please
that
do.
that's true from the distributor side too. Like Orderdesk has made it a lot easier for me to say yes to whatever wild idea our AEs and clients have about a program. There is probably a way to make it to bring those in as orders and then make them function the way we need to function. So
For
yeah,
us, it's the simplicity of the import field mapping. Because I can turn around and say to any distributor of any size, if you have any system that can export anything as a CSV or an Excel file, as long as it is enough information that you need to make an order, I can take it. I don't need a specific format. I don't need column headers and field names to be the same. Give me whatever you can output. I will consume it. And the speed to market for us to bring people online, to your point, like we have one of our biggest high growing volume embroidery on demand customers. It started out with barrier of least resistance. Let's go CSV because we can do that simple. Then we'll do a full API integration. 2 years later, over 100,000 orders later, still CSVs, no interest in doing anything else. They're getting CSVs inbound from us. They're getting an outbound tracking file, and it's just been that way. And it's in that, like, we're getting what we need.
Chris, you mentioned that you're putting they're putting order these files into your FTP folder. And one of the things that we built early on that I think is one of the most exciting ways to import CSVs, I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth, exciting ways to import CSVs, is you can when you take the CSV, you create that template in Orderdesk. We give you an email address, a custom email address that you can give to your supplier or your your order source, and your customer can then email the file to that email address, and it will automatically be ingested into Orderdesk and then run through your rules. And that's a really like, it does not get any simpler than that.
Brilliant.
I
For
use
both,
that for tracking all the time, FYI.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I've done that too, and I really like how, like Chris said, I don't have to mess with the columns. I don't have to massage an Excel file for half an hour before it's ready to ingest. For both Michael and Chris, what advice would you give to other suppliers who are thinking about how Orderdesk might be able to help them?
Sure.
Well,
I don't know. You got it, Chris.
there is a very low barrier of entry to try to do this. The API guide that David's team has put together, very self-explanatory, very simple for the development team to build. So it's a real simple integration to get done that unlocks a lot of potential, both on the inbound order side of things, the additional utility that it brings to the table. I mean, we're starting now to develop the other way for us to send orders to Orderdesk, because our store platform, we have some strategic partnerships in place. We're talking to somebody else right now, and I literally had the conversation the other day. I don't want to integrate with 5 other suppliers. If I push my orders to Orderdesk, I can now send them to Rupt. I can send them to Showdown. Here's all these other places I can send stuff to. I can go tailor on demand. Why wouldn't I? We're already taking the inbound side of it. So for a supplier, I mean, there's a lot of fit there that can serve both sides of the business. And it's,
Yeah.
very simple to implement.
Yeah, I like the term you use, low barrier to entry, just in terms of not only like it's an incredibly affordable platform, and I think that it must be a money laundering front, because there's no way it's this inexpensive, David. There's no way. But yeah, low barrier to entry in terms of
Don't
cost.
give him any ideas. You're going to leave it just the way it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Please don't worry. But yeah, no, low barrier to entry in terms of cost, but also in terms of ease of use. It's low code or absolutely like very minimal code, if any, on the platform. It's super easy for anybody who has any experience in this industry. If you've ever seen the back end of a Shopify store and figured that out, Orderdesk is going to be a breeze. Like it's a very easy platform to understand, get up and running. Like any platform that you introduce into your kind of arsenal or armory, so to speak, as a distributor or a supplier, there's a little bit of upfront work, but it pays off in the end. Like I'm already seeing how much the work that we've done over the last like 4 months, getting our order desk to a place where it is now. And we still have a lot of ways to go, but it's saved us so much time already in the last 4 months. And it just, all it does is save us future time as well, where it's just quicker for us to get orders, quicker for us to get tracking out, and really, really simple to set up.
Nice. Appreciate the view from the supplier side. But there is a third party, right, who kind of you see pop up in the integrations page, and that's the solution provider. These are people like Bright Stores, Liftoff, not just shopping carts, but also services like Smarty or QuickBooks Online. David, question for you. What do solution providers like them stand to gain from being integrated with Orderdesk?
Yeah. So from the source side, the order source side, like Bright Sites and Bright Stores, and it's really nice because you're able to really focus on what you're doing, getting orders in, and completely allow the fulfillment side to get handled elsewhere. I think there's a lot of value in focusing on what you do best, focusing on building orders, focus on the fulfillment side, and not to have to try to do everything. And I think when you're trying to handle all the different pieces, it ends up things kind of fall apart. On our side, we're just trying to be that piece in the middle that links everything together. I think but an integration with Orderdesk is going to allow services to provide what they do as an add-on to a wide variety of other companies and organizations and customers, and it allows you to just be more successful.
Makes sense. Hannah, can you share an example of a win that only happens in a connected ecosystem like this?
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to being able to say yes to everything. So we have a client, a big client. It's not a big program, so they do a lot of other programs with us, but this one is really just a service to them. And it would have been a really big manual process for us, going through different departments and touching a lot of hands without Orderdesk in the middle of this. But as it is now, the orders, they come in from the client CRM, and we're able to process those, connect with all the right pieces, and it has not changed our internal process, which that honestly, that's huge for us, being able to say yes on the front end and have like wild complexity out there where we can do whatever our clients need us to do in the way that it's easiest for them. And then bring it back in and in and in until it flows through the same process. And Orderdesk is that connected piece that puts it all together and lets us do that.
Nice. For the panel, what would you say to a curious attendee today who is hesitant because of either cost, although we've heard it's pretty affordable, or the complexity of the application or the amount of support required?
Yeah, one thing I didn't touch on is the support at Orderdesk, literally support at orderdesk.com. They will walk you through any sort of issue they have. They take the time to really look into it. It's hard for me to find another company in this industry with as good of support as Autodesk has. So hopefully that's definitely not a hesitation worried about like, oh, are they just going to give me the keys to the kingdom, to the Autodesk kingdom, and then tell me to figure it out? Like, no, they will help you set it up the way that you in particular need it. So definitely another good aspect to have.
I totally agree with that. I have been immensely impressed by the support team there. We ask a question and then all of a sudden an integration gets better. It's fantastic.
My integration got better. I literally said, hey, I have a distributor that wants inventory. Can we do inventory? And they're like, let's see. The next morning, okay, done. I'm like, what do you mean done? Here you go. It's finished. We hit your endpoint. We pull your inventory. I'm like, wow. I thought we were going to go through this whole like question and answer. Let's share document. No, finished. And it was done right the first time. I have to add, like, there's like in the industry, like there's done, which is usually kind of done. And then there's done correctly. They got it done correctly, like right away.
I love that. Thank you.
Just
we
trying to keep the
provide
price low, Dave. Compliments keep prices down.
Yeah. We provide a lot of documentation, a lot of instructions, details, even videos, if that's the way that you learn best. But if you go through those and you've still got questions, like they've said, our support team is there and we're ready to jump in and answer questions and help out with any problems or things that are confusing. We've really tried to put together folks that really care about what we're doing and about our customers, and making sure people have what they need to be successful.
Much appreciated. Hannah, if a distributor is ready to take a first step, how do you think they should get started with Autodesk?
Definitely just try it. There's a free trial. Like there is no risk here. Go to the integrations page, see what you already use. And then yeah, explore. Start with something simple, start with a simple program, and then see what you can build. They have managed to take something really complex and break it down into something that is simple to implement. Um, Anyone on your team can do it even. So
We've had some distributors do just that. It's, well, I have an existing Shopify store and it has Vantage product in it and you guys decorate. So, well, let's try it. So they set up a trial account and they had a harder time figuring out the Shopify side of things that they've been using forever than the order desk side. It's like once they got the stuff in, it's like, oh, well, this part was easy. But it was the Shopify side of, well, where do I set up a meta field and what do they call this and how many different tiers down and stuff. But once the orders were in, like the order desk piece was the simple part.
Michael and Chris, if a supplier is getting started with Order Desk, what are the types of results they should look for?
Chris, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, being able to open up integrated ordering to people on platforms where it didn't exist is really the simplest piece. It is the exposure to other business. It's that ability to say yes. I'm sure that sales reps at other suppliers are not very different from ours who like to lead with yes and then come back to the people who make the stuff happen behind the scenes and realize that, well, no, because you heard the word Shopify before doesn't mean we're connected to it. So there's a big world that a supplier can get connected to and maybe opportunities that they didn't know were out there just by having the stuff, right? We first looked at Order Desk and one of the things on the list was TikTok Shop. And it's, what can you do TikTok Shop? That's not in the industry. Well, until somebody had a concept for a hoodie that they didn't want to buy 1,000 of them, but they wanted to sell through TikTok Shop and take the Gildan hoodie, have the tag ripped out of it, embroider something on it, heat seal the inside of the shirt. Now they're getting that stuff on demand. So for us, that's a channel that we would have never even looked at, and now these resellers that might look different than the traditional reseller. It's just another avenue of sales.
Yeah, and for us at Rupt, we have, for those that do or don't know, we do one piece minimums on everything, and we're also really good at large orders. But with large orders, they're, like just using the TikTok Shop example, if something goes viral this year or there's an event this year and there's, they need 200 pieces of something or 1,000 pieces of something, from a business perspective as a supplier, that's not necessarily revenue we can count on next year because you don't know if that's happening. So success for us in terms of using Order Desk is growing the percentage of our orders that are print on demand as a piece of our business, because that's when, especially with our go-to-market strategy where everything is one piece minimum, having an easy way for customers to order one unit at a time that's fully customized and is touchless for our team. Touchless as in customer checks out on their site, it goes directly to our factory floor to produce and ship. There's no salesperson involved. Like that is the goal for us. And so when we, as a supplier, look to measure success, or like what results should a supplier look for when we're looking to add Order Desk, for us in particular, it's growing the percentage of overall sales that come in through a POD method, and also making it easier for customers to order, easier for tracking to get sent back, and just easier for our team. It frees us up to go chase some of those larger projects that are necessary to our business, but just something that we can't necessarily count on for the next year, where we can definitely, it's more repeatable and predictable when it's coming through an integrated way, coming through programs. So that's what success means for us here at Rupt, and why we love WordPress so much.
Thank you. David, I want to give you the last word before we get to Q&A. Reminder, there is time for Q&A. So if you have a question, put it in the chat or the Q&A box. David, how do people get started with Order Desk? What should they do next?
Yeah,
etc.
absolutely. So I think Hannah mentioned this, orderdesk.com. Hit that sign up button. You're going to get a free trial. You can try it out for 30 days. and gives you plenty of time to connect your programs, set up your products, and connect your suppliers, and get the process going. It gives you time to connect with our support team if you have any questions, and it's easy to do. So we'd love to help you out. Yeah, it's something we care about deeply, and we'd love to help out as many customers as we can. Kind of simplify the process of adding suppliers into the mix.
Love that. I remember coming across Orderdesk years ago and thinking, man, there's something here for the promo side of the business. And I didn't really get an opportunity to kick the tires on it until essentially being functionally unemployed at PromoPilot. But I'm sure glad that I got the opportunity to try it out. We don't have any Q&A or chat. I'm going to take that as a compliment that we covered everything. So, folks, you get 15 plus more minutes back. Do check out Orderdesk if any of this piqued your interest. You can also join the Aviators community. We talk about Orderdesk in there from time to time. And yeah, panelists, thank you so much for being here.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Eric.
Take care, everybody.
All right.